Welcome aboard the Ascension. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Now, before I get started, I just want to say that some people are so caught up with the power scaling that their ability to make a sound argument is non-existent because they're so caught up with the legend of a particular character. They thought Katakuri was weak because Sanji dodged his jelly bean. They thought King is trash because Izzo shot the sword out of his hand. Here we have Kaido, who is attacked by 9 people of commander level with 20 years of rage in their hockeyed up swords, and they were able to pierce Kaido. Kaido wasn't even present the whole time. He was stuck in an Oden flashback and he let his guard down, and that's part of why he was pierced, because he wasn't focused. I don't understand this notion that if someone is harmed by a character who is below their level, that they're somehow trash, or if a character doesn't live up to the legend of their name, that they're weak. We were introduced to Kaido as someone looking for a place to die. He was captured numerous times. They tried to pierce his skin, but the weapons broke. Cut his head off, but the gelatine shattered. This is the legend of Kaido. Big Mom even calls him an it. The thing is, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. No matter the aura, no character is invincible in One Piece. I thought Oda already made that clear through 986 chapters of the manga. Anyways, the wound Oden gave Kaido starts to ache, and he wonders if the scabbards are using the same Rio as Oden. I don't think the scabbards can use the same Rio as Oden, because Oden, that brother, was just on another level. Nevertheless, they are using Rio. Kaido probably mentioned as Oden because Oden was the last person to wound him. So it's on the premise of, if Oden could wound me and these scabbards can too, then the Rio must be the same. But I think Kaido wasn't even using hardening, because again, his mind wasn't even in the right place. Rio, just to explain a bit, Rio is advanced hockey. Advanced hockey is Rio. They're one and the same. The difference between regular ornament and Rio is that ornament is more so for external damage, while Rio is internal. Rio is created around the ability of swordsmen to cut nothing or everything, the breath of all things in One Piece. Essentially, you have to be operating on the same wavelength of an object if you want to cut it. Consider how doctors use shockwaves from outside the body to fragment kidney stones. The wavelength must be on the same frequency of the stones or else it won't work. So with their swords equipped with Rio, they are dealing internal damage to Kaido, which softens the exterior and allows them to pierce the skin. Consider a building. If you destroy the interior framework, the building falls apart. Kaido starts to panic. It's like Gaara seeing his blood for the first time. The scabbard yelled, "Pierce him," which means that they know about Kaido's hardness. They know the focus of the attack had to be Rio. So they fell into the underground. The shockwave just levels everything around them. And this page was extremely satisfying because we're finally seeing the fruits of 20 years of planning. To land an attack like that on a Yonko is pretty badass. Big Mom asks if Kaido died, and that's kind of ironic. I remember her describing Kaido as a thing, so I think it's just sarcasm, Yamato suggests attacking Kaido while he's weak. Again, this is more confirmation that Kaido is not invincible. He has moments where he's vulnerable, like when he was drunk versus Luffy. She mentions how strong Oden's retainers are, and bam, like ulti come out of nowhere like the RKO. But Yamato has a guard up and she was able to block her. Yamato says it's time to become Kazuki Oden, and Ulti is confused. She's like, wait, are you stupid or something? Ulti is great. That was funny. That was great. I love Ulti. Yamato says that she's no longer an ally and doesn't care if her father dies. And I still think she cares a little though, because it's her father. And although the handcuffs were real, those were real explosions that would have killed her, I can understand how her faith in her father just it became non-existent. But I still think she would feel something if he dies. But I do think she considers Oden her father now, but she does want to become him right, by freeing Wano. So I'm just still a little confused with the whole Yamato identity stuff. Big Mom lands in front of Luffy, and my god, Luffy going up against Yonkos now, it just shows you how far we've come in One Piece. So Luffy tells her that, you know, he's busy right now, he doesn't have any time for her. She said she has come from far away just to kill him. And while that's happening, Nami and Carrot successfully escape the Big Mom homies, and Carrot attacks Prometheus with Electro. I believe the last person to successfully land an attack on Prometheus was Brook in Whole Cake Island. So very impressive by Carrot. But I don't know, Luffy should be honored that Big Mom, you know, came all this way for him. Imagine being a pirate and a Yonko travels days just to find you and to kill you. I don't know, my ego would be all over the place. My ego would be sky high. Big Mom asks Luffy why he came to Wano and warns him not to say anything ridiculous like defeating Kaido. Luffy says she's right, you know, it's not the only reason why he's here. And Yamato, she's hearing this and she's a little bit confused, like, didn't you come to Wano to defeat Kaido? It's why I'm with you right now. But Kaido slowly gets to his feet and he was able to retrieve his club. I don't know, when the scabbards attacked him and he fell, the club, like, I don't know, that was sent flying. So I don't know how he was able to retrieve it. But anyway, he has it, and he begins to realize that Orochi wasn't so delusional after all. The rumors of the Shadow in Odin Castle, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, the Phantom Island Zoo were all true. And I'm surprised Kaido didn't believe in the rumors though, especially that of Zou. I thought he might have been an ancient, maybe from the times close to the Void Century, but it seems he's just a pirate with no knowledge of Joy Boy or the Ancient Kingdom. The fact that his base is Onigashima, which real name is probably closely connected to the clan of D, being they were the ones to craft the poneglyphs, I imagine Kaido would have more knowledge of the past and Zou. And this also tells me that Kaido really didn't believe Momo when Momo said that he's the son of Odin and Toki. He really didn't believe him. He thought he was lying. And I don't know, I guess it wasn't just disappointment. So moreover, Kaido is surprised that the scabbards hid under the Straw Hat's shadows. And reading One Piece again for so long, having people like the scabbards hiding under the shadows of the Straw Hats is impressive. The Straw Hats are big enough where people are hiding under their shadow. And I know some people would say, well, Luffy is the 5th emperor, but I don't believe Luffy is the 5th emperor. He hasn't done anything to be considered the 5th emperor yet, but I do believe after Wano he might get there. But the fact that people are hiding under his shadow, they've come so far. And Kaido tries to break the spirits of the scabbards, telling them that they will be betrayed by Luffy, you know, because they're pirates. But Kinemon stands his ground and tells Kaido that Luffy is nothing like him. And even if they do die, Luffy will bring the dawn, essentially fulfilling Odin's dream. And the blood from Kaido's mouth though, I was waiting for that one chapter where Luffy asked Kaido, like, yo, hey, do you bleed? And then he's like, you will. I'm glad Oda is keeping the spotlight on the scabbards though. So yeah, Luffy tells Big Mom that he has come to kick all their asses, not just Kaido, you know, but Big Mom, the commanders, and Orochi and his subordinates. She tells Luffy not to be so full of himself just because he has a few hundred people on his side. Queen hears this, but he hasn't processed it yet. Then someone yells that there are thousands of intruders going into the castle from the rear, and that's when it finally hits him. Not just hundreds, thousands. And when the Grand Fleet shows up, Queen's eyes, the amount of time Queen's eyes has been popping out, like when the Straw Hat Grand Fleet shows up, Queen's eyes will be on the moon. So it seems the shadow that Marco saw in the ocean was in fact Pedospedo, and they're teaming up to go up against Kaido. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? It's still kind of odd though. Like, I think the reason Pedospedo is so against the alliance is because he's well aware how pirate alliances usually end, and you know that's his mother, so he has to look out for his mother. You know, he's Big Mom's first son, and I think something happened in the past with Big Mom and Kaido, probably related to that lifelong debt, and he knows that Kaido's version of repayment is debt. You know, right now Kaido's forces outnumbers Big Mom, and since Katakuri and most of the crew stayed back in Whole Cake Island, he knows that there's no chance of leaving Wano, Kaido's territory, without help, and that's why he's allying with Marco, you know, for now. Pedospedo more than anybody knows how Big Mom is driven by emotions rather than rationality. Her desire to kill Luffy outweighs her ability to truly contemplate what it means to ally with Kaido. Look at Orochi. So Kaido hears Luffy's words about kicking his ass, telling Luffy he accepts his challenge and transformed into his massive dragon form. And man, that was just such a great panel. That was, I accept your challenge. Yonkos telling Luffy, hey, I accept your challenge. That means a lot to Luffy to have a Yonko say that, and that was just, man, that was, I love One Piece, man. I love One Piece. So he says that while he flies up to the dome of Onigashima, and again, so excited. But Kaido promises to show them the world's strongest power, and it was at that point that something clicked. The ancient weapons are the world's strongest weapons, right? Pluton, the battleship, Poseidon, the ability to command the Sea Kings, and Uranus, Kaido, the world's strongest creature. Big Mom calls Kaido a thing. She laughs at the nonsensical idea of Luffy defeating Kaido because Kaido himself is an ancient weapon. I believe the egg that was on Roger's ship is the ancient weapon that Shiki was talking about Roger finding, not Pluton. The lifelong debt that Kaido owes Big Mom is the fact that Big Mom sort of merged Kaido with the dragon inside that egg. The dragon is the ancient weapon, and Kaido became one with it, becoming the world's strongest power. And at this point in the story, we know that Blackbeard and the Yonkos, except for Shanks, are after the ancient weapons. Let's not forget, we're in the Four Emperor saga. When the Shishibukai system was abolished and Blackbeard said he won't let them have it, the it that he was talking about, I believe, is Kaido. He knew the Marines would be going to stop Big Mom and Kaido since the SSG program is now complete. They don't need the Shishibukai anymore. They believe they can take down a Yonko with the SSG and the help of the admirals, some of the admirals. So he didn't want the Marines get their hands on Uranus. So he departed to Wano to become the ultimate opportunist, like what he did in the Marine Fort with Whitebeard. So when Shanks was speaking to the Gorosei, I think he was probably warning them about Blackbeard, like, hey, Blackbeard is going after Kaido. He's going after the ancient weapon that is part of Kaido. There's a reason ancient weapons were brought up 2 chapters back in bold letters. It's because Kaido is one of them. At least that's just my little mini theory, but just by those words, Kaido saying, it's time I show you the world's strongest power. When you say world strongest, that's a big deal in One Piece. Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman. Dragon, leader of the revolutionary, the world's most wanted man. The world's strongest weapons. The world's strongest man, which was Whitebeard. Come on now, this means a lot. And yeah, Kaido, I believe, is the ancient weapon Uranus. How many years of One Piece do we have and we still haven't been introduced to Uranus? Maybe we have, maybe we just didn't know it, and Kaido, I believe, is Uranus. Anyways, the scabbards hang on to Kaido as he flew to the top of the dome. Kinemon thanks Luffy for his help on the journey so far. Luffy tells him that they should meet again when it's all over. A few of the scabbards will obviously die, but I don't think Kinemon is one of them. Although we have this great moment with Luffy and Kinemon, I just don't see Kinemon dying, but I do see 5 of the scabbards dying. Just as the same ratio in the original Seven Samurais where 4 of the samurais die. So if we're going by the same ratio, I think 5 of the scabbards will die. Kaido and the scabbards make it to the roof and the Minks await them. Kaido seems a bit disappointed because he's sober. That's incredible. The Minks wanted to fight in a large place like their battle with Kaido 20 years ago. Kaido is not thrilled because Odin is dead, and I guess depriving him of the real fun since he doesn't believe the scabbards are that strong to give him a real challenge. Nuko reminds Kaido that the only difference between now and 20 years ago is not just the absence of Odin, but also the environment where Kaido would be able to fight to his fullest if he were to become a dragon. And wow, the Minks are confident. They want Kaido at his strongest. The hype, man, this is insane. The Minks look up at the full moon and the transformation into their Sulong form ensues. Chapter ends. Wow. I wanted to see why the editor cried, and that was because of 986. I guess he got emotional because he's finally Oda's editor, and I guess finally, officially becoming a part of the manga making process, witnessing a sad moment between characters. I do think it was the Momo moment that made him cry, but a lesson from this, don't listen to the editors. Their job is to hype the manga. Nevertheless, great chapter. I got chills with the last panel. The scabbards and the Minks versus Kaido. While the Minks and scabbards are facing Kaido, this is when we'll get maybe King and Queen and Jack versus maybe Luffy, Zoro, Law, all of them. So it looks like the Minks, the scabbards, and Kaido, it looks like they'll be battling for quite a while, and while that's happening, then we'll get all the other battles, and maybe we finally get to see my boy Mr. Prince make his long-awaited entrance and take on who's who. So yeah, Kaido is fine, guys. So stop with the power scaling nonsense. No one is invincible in One Piece. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys so much for clicking this video. Please rate the video, comment below, let me know your thoughts on the chapter, and if you like what I do here, want to see more, hit that subscribe button and join the Ascension. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in T-1 day. Bye bye.